We are beginning our Durham County Board of Commissioners meeting with a closed session. The board is requested to go into closed session for reasons related to General Statute 143-318.11A3, as well as General Statute 143-318.11A6. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Burton, second by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in closed session. The Durham County Board of Commissioners met in closed session. No action was taken. Motion to come out of closed session was made by Commissioner Valentine and seconded by Commissioner Burton. I'll get us started with the public charge. The Board of Commissioners asks its members and residents to conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner, both with the board and fellow residents. At any time, should any member of the board or any resident fail to observe this public charge, the chair will ask the offending person to leave the meeting until that individual regains personal control. Should decorum fail to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until such time that a genuine commitment to the public charge is observed. And Commissioner Burton, will you lead our land acknowledgement?
Yes, thank you, Chair Alam. As we convene for the Durham County Commissioners meeting, it is crucial to recognize the painful truth of history. We stand on the stolen ancestral lands of the Catawba, Eno, Occaneechi, Shakori, and Tuscarora peoples, whose deep connection to this land predates our arrival. We acknowledge with humility the unjust displacement and violence that occurred, leading to the dispossession of indigenous peoples from their homelands. Their resilience in the face of such adversity is a testament to their strength and spirit. May we humbly honor the ancestors and elders of these nations, both past and present, by committing ourselves to the fostering, understanding, healing, and justice for all who inhabit this land. Let us walk forward together with open hearts, acknowledging the past and embracing a future guided by compassion, respect, and unity.
Thank you, Commissioner Burton. I'll now pass it to Clerk Wallace for our announcements.
Good evening, everyone. I'll read the announcements published in tonight's agenda. The community is invited to observe Wear Orange Day on June 6th, which also coincides with National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Community members, elected officials, and law enforcement officials from across the Triangle are invited to participate in an event that will be held at noon in front of the Franklin Street Post Office in Chapel Hill. The goal of the observance is to work to bring an end to gun violence. The Durham County Tax Administration reminds all taxpayers that the deadline to file an appeal of your 2025 real property tax appraisal is 5 p.m. on Monday, June 16th. When the Board of Equalization and Review concludes its term. You can file an appeal online. There is a website, or you can download the paper application. For additional information, you can visit dconc.gov/tax-help, or you can call 919-560-0300. The Durham County General Services Department announces that the Redwood Convenience Site located at 100 Electira Road will temporarily close for 4 weeks to allow for tree removal and road construction to set up a new traffic pattern. This site will close to the public on Monday, June 9th, and reopen on Monday, July 7th. The Northern and Parkwood will remain open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 7 a.m. to 12 noon, closed Sundays and county holidays. For additional information, you can visit the county website. Durham Public Schools will once again provide free meals for students during the summer months. The Sun Meals program from the Department of Health and Human Services is open to those age 1 through 18 to pick up breakfast and lunch, Monday through Friday, June 16th through August 1st. No identification or registration is ever needed. Site locations vary each year. Text FOOD or COMIDA to 304-304 during the summer months to find a site near you, or you can visit dpsnc.net site. For a map of more summer meal sites and locations, you can visit Durham Area Food Resources Locator Map. You can also call 919-560-2370. The opioid settlement community meeting is scheduled for June 5th. Join us for an annual community meeting to learn more about how Durham County is using its national opioid settlement funds to address the opioid epidemic and give your input. Speakers include Jason Smith, Durham County Public Health Collaborative Strategic Planning, Morgan Culver, and Dennis Hamlet, Community Syringe Distribution, Lacey Schofield, Community Linkage to Care, Peer Support Group, and Dr. Patel Joyner, post-overdose resource team. Light refreshments will be provided, and the event will be held on Thursday, June 5th, from 5:30 till 7:30 inside the Commissioners' Chambers located on the second floor. And I do have one additional announcement that is not in the agenda. Everyone is invited to attend the 3rd Annual North Carolina Official Juneteenth Flag Raising Ceremony at the Durham County Courthouse, located at 510 South Dillard Street, at 11:30 a.m. on Monday, June 2nd. The event serves as the kickoff of the annual Juneteenth celebration in Durham, scheduled for Saturday, June 21st, hosted by Spectacular Magazine and the Triangle Cultural Awareness Foundation. The event will feature the Montford Port Marines and Durham County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard and other local officials. You can find additional information at spectacularmag.com/Juneteenth. And that concludes the announcements.
Thank you, Clerk Wallace. Are there any additional announcements from the board? Commissioner Jacobs?
I just wanted to highlight that tomorrow, we've had this in previous announcements, but tomorrow, May 28th, at 12 o'clock p.m., is an information center for the Bulls Academy for the 12th cohort. This is a special program that Durham County funds in partnership with MAID in Durham and Durham Tech that is a very short-term certification program for young people to get certified to work in life sciences. It's an amazing program that is a real job pipeline into really good paying jobs. And while you are a student, you get a stipend, and when you graduate, you get a computer. So we want to encourage people to attend this session. You have to attend an information session to be able to apply. So for anyone who's interested, just Google Bulls Academy and you will find the information.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobs. That concludes our announcements. We now have minutes for our May 5th work session as well as our May 12th regular session minutes. Are there any adjustments, or I'll entertain a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Burton, second by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. We will now move to our ceremonial items. I'll pass to Commissioner Jacobs for our first one.
Durham Board of County Commissioners Proclamation, Jewish American Heritage Month 2025. Whereas Jewish American Heritage Month is a time to honor the significant religious, cultural, political, and economic contributions Jewish Americans have made to our state, nation, and Durham County, and whereas since 2006, May has nationally been recognized as Jewish American Heritage Month, and all citizens are invited to celebrate the vibrant and varied American Jewish experience. And whereas Jewish Americans represent communities across the globe in their diverse racial and linguistic makeup, and whereas Jewish communities have existed in North Carolina since the 1600s, and whereas Jewish North Carolinians have been participants and leaders on the front lines of fights for women's suffrage, racial and gender justice, and social movements supporting diverse North Carolinians, and whereas the North Carolina Council on the Holocaust teaches us that combating prejudice, indifference, and systemic bias can create a stronger, more inclusive society, and North Carolina's Jewish community continues to work with members of all faiths and backgrounds so that never again shall any people suffer the evils of discrimination and racial or religious hatred. Now, therefore, I, Nida Alam, Chair, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Jewish American Heritage Month in Durham County, North Carolina, and call upon all citizens to observe and celebrate the successes of Jewish Americans and to mark this month with appropriate observances honoring endless possibilities of Jewish Americans everywhere.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobs. And we have Dr. Lewis.
Good evening, Commissioners and Manager Hager. Thank you for this proclamation, and I will pass it over to my colleague, Raina, who will also share some remarks.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Rena Goldstein-Benug. I am the County Food Security Coordinator. Thank you, County Commissioners, for your resolution to celebrate and honor Jewish American Heritage Month. It really means a lot. And thank you, Dr. Lewis, and the rest of the Durham County Equitable Wellbeing Team for inviting me to speak today and continuing to lift up many diverse cultures represented within our county staff and community. As a county employee, I've shared parts of my personal story with you all, and I'm grateful today to have the opportunity to speak just a bit about my Jewish identity and how it's influenced my career. In Judaism, there's a concept called tikkun olam, which is a Hebrew phrase meaning to improve or to repair the world. Tikkun olam acknowledges that the world is imperfect and that each of us here has the responsibility to work to do what we can to make it a better place for everyone. There are many ways that people choose to practice tikkun olam, and some of them were even in the resolution that Commissioner Jacobs read. In my life, this has been a commitment to social justice, which for me means working alongside others to create a more equitable and inclusive society where everyone has access to everything they need to thrive. This notion of tikkun olam and social justice certainly contributed to my choice of career path. I chose to study public health and public policy to contribute to systemic changes needed in our society, and I chose to become a registered dietitian because I believe that food is a human right, and it felt important to work in the food and nutrition space. I felt immensely grateful to be able to work in my chosen career path, and most of my career thus far has been working for Durham County. So I've been here over 9 years, so very close to a decade. We're almost there. And in the 2 positions I've had during this time, my current role at Cooperative Extension and my previous one in public health, I've had the privilege to work on initiatives focused on supporting families and communities in Durham. Each team that I've been a part of has included incredible colleagues and partners dedicated to working in partnership with Durham community members to improve health and well-being outcomes for everyone in the county. So thank you again, County Commissioners and leadership, for this opportunity to speak, and thank you for honoring Jewish American Heritage Month and for providing leadership and direction for us to continue this work.
Thank you so much, Raina, for sharing your personal story, and Dr. Lewis as well, to you and your team for bringing this resolution to us. Are there additional comments from the board? Commissioner Jacobs?
I just want to say to Brent and all of your team, again, we appreciate you lifting up everybody who's a part of the Durham County family and in our community. And Raina, again, for sharing your own personal story. Tikkun olam and tzedakah, which is another part of Judaism, which is giving to others, and charity are part of my motivation for being a public servant as well. So thank you for sharing that.
Commissioner Valentine?
Yes, so thank you for your proclamation here this evening. I think I joined the board and the residents here in Durham County in celebrating Jewish Americans across the county. The Jewish American community represents one of the many that makes us one here in Durham County. So thank you again.
Thank you. Commissioner Burton, I'll pass to you for the next.
Thank you, Chair Alam. Durham Board of County Commissioners Proclamation, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month 2025. Whereas Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month has been celebrated nationally since 1992 to recognize the contributions, rich history, and diversity that Asian Americans Pacific Islanders bring to our communities. And whereas North Carolina has been home to members of the Asian American Pacific Islander community since the mid-19th century, when the first Chinese immigrants began to settle in our state. And whereas over 20,000 Asian Americans Pacific Islanders call Durham County their home, and whereas throughout history, Asian American Pacific Islanders have faced adversity and used their strength and resilience to become leaders and trailblazers in our nation, including but not limited to our first female Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. And whereas the efforts and contributions of Asian American Pacific Islanders can be seen in every aspect of society, including education, history, politics, healthcare, economics, and science, playing a pivotal role in the history of the United States. And whereas the state of North Carolina and Durham County are proud to commemorate May as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and to recognize the contributions of Asian Pacific Americans to diversity, leadership, and empowerment throughout our nation's history. Now, therefore, I, Nida Alam, Chair, in behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month in Durham County, North Carolina, and call upon all citizens to observe and celebrate the AAPI community, and to mark this month with appropriate observances honoring endless possibilities of Asian Americans everywhere. This 27th day of May 2025, Nida Alam, Chair, Durham Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Burton. Back to you, Dr. Lewis.
I will be brief. Again, to our commissioners and to our manager Hager, thank you for this proclamation for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. As staff, we had a chance to recognize this Heritage Month with a learning opportunity today, and continue to engage our colleagues, recognizing our residents as well as our staff in Durham County.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lewis.
Thank you.
Any additional comments? Okay, appreciate it. That now brings us to our last proclamation resolution. Commissioner Valentine?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Proclamation, National Foster Care Month 2025. Whereas the family, serving as the primary source of love, identity, self-esteem, and support, is the foundation of our communities and our state. And whereas 390,000 children are currently in foster care nationwide because their own families are in crisis and unable to provide for their essential well-being. And whereas more than 11,000 children live in foster care, and approximately 407 young adults ages 18 to 21 in extended foster care in North Carolina, because their own families are in crisis, are unable to provide for their essential well-being. And whereas foster families who open their homes and hearts as a support to families and not a substitute for parents play a vital role in helping children and families to heal and reconnect and launching children into successful adulthood. And whereas in Durham County, there were 187 children and youth in foster care on April 30th, 2025, being provided with a safe, secure, and stable home, along with the compassion and nurture of a foster family or kinship family, and 32 young adults ages 18 through 21 in extended foster care. And whereas the needs of foster care population result in a greater call for skilled foster families, community resources, and partnership, and whereas when children are placed with relatives or close family friends, they benefit from the preserved family relationship and cultural identity, and whereas the Durham County foster care system depends on the active support and involvement of the Durham community, and whereas the Durham County Department of Social Services is joined by numerous individuals, public and private organizations who work to increase public awareness of the needs of children in and leaving foster care. And whereas Foster Care Month is an opportunity to recognize the foster parents, kinship families, child welfare professionals, and advocates working to ensure children's safety, permanence, and well-being, and to spread awareness on behalf of children in foster care while being centered on family, strengthening connections, and whereas the Durham County Department of Social Services encourage residents to volunteer their time, energy, and talents on behalf of children and their biological families, kinship caregivers, and foster parents during this month and throughout the year. Now, therefore, I, Nida Alam, Chair, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as National Foster Care Month here in Durham County, and commend this observance to our community and urge all citizens to come forward to do something positive that will help raise hope and foster dreams of children and youth in foster care. This 27th day of May 2025. Signed, Nida Alam.
Thank you, Commissioner Valentine. I'll now pass it to Director Clapp.
Good evening, County Commissioners and Chair Alam. I want to start off by saying that I'm aware that the child welfare system in the United States is broken. We have a lot of work to do. We have to focus on reunification, and we have to focus on doing what is best for the family. But the idea that we cannot protect every child by not removing them from their home and putting them in a resource family or a foster family, that is not realistic. Sometimes we have to do that in order to support a family in times of need with everything that they have going on. And we cannot do that without our resource parents and our foster families. They are our greatest resource as we look through the child welfare system. The theme for 2025 is centered on family strengthened by connections. So we want to recognize the vital work being done across our county and our country to protect and support children in foster care. Our foster parents and resource parents play a vital role in our efforts to reunify children with their parents. So for example, visits. A lot of times our resource parents will transport children to their visits. They will have communication back and forth, letting them know how their children are doing. This is a vital tool. I sit in on every TIPS MAPS training, which is the training for foster parents that is state mandated. And at the end of that training, I let them know this is not a foster to adopt situation. This is a foster to reunify. This is how we're going to work in Durham County. We are not going to foster to adopt, we're going to foster to reunify. And our foster care parents and resource parents take that very seriously, and they are committed to that. And so for this, we do need to honor them. Through our partnership with the courts, we've extended the family visits to late evenings up to 7 p.m. during the week and weekend. During the month of April, we had a total of 118 family visits. In the last year, we have extended the family time to weekends and evenings because we understand that not everyone can do daytime visits, and that also interferes with schools. As county commissioners, your leadership is essential in shaping policies and investing in services that strengthen families, promote reunification, and ensure every child has a safe, stable, and permanent home. Right now, we are facing in our country a time of where insurance is going to be cut, possibly. Food and nutrition benefits to children are going to be cut. This is going to impact families and how they are able to support each other. We need to be there as a support, not to punish, but to be there as a support, to say, we're here. If you need some help, we are here to help you, and there's your village next door to help you with your child. And that is what we rely on resource parents for and foster parents to help us do that. In 2025, we invite you to continue championing the partnerships and resources that make lasting change possible for vulnerable children and families in our community. We need to continue to work as a team together, as a community, to make sure that families are safe, children are safe, but also that families have the support they need to reunify, and that is our resource parents. So I appreciate you taking this time to honor them this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Clapp and your team, and thank you to the foster parents and resource families that are out in the Durham community and generally across our state and country. A family I used to babysit for in high school actually became a foster family while I was babysitting for them, because there was 3 young Muslim children who were going to be separated from each other, and some possibly even sent out of state. And so this family stepped up and took all 3 of them in, even though they had 3 of their own, to make sure that the kids stayed together and stayed in a Muslim family, which was so important. So I know it's very important, meaningful work. Thank you all for your service. Commissioner Burton?
Yes, I just want to echo what Chair Alam says, for all the work that you do to work hard to keep, children together, families together. I know it's hard work, and I just want to say thank you to you and to your team for everything you do. And I know I need to come and take a tour and just meet people at social services. So I just want you to know that we appreciate all the work that you do. Thank you.
We're happy to host you at any time. And I do want to say that right now, with what we have going on in this country, so I want to say, Commissioner Alam, it is concerning as we see parents being sent back home to their country and ripped apart from their children, what that will do to our community and our system. And that is something, again, resource parents will be able to stand in for and do that if there's no family members or community members that they've identified to do that. And that is a real factual, realistic thing that's going on right now. So thank you for saying that, because that can happen, and that is what we are looking down the road to, what resource parents can help with. So thank you.
Commissioner Valentine?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Director Clapp, thank you for your remarks this evening, and thank you for your continued commitment to family reunification and the safety of our children. This isn't an easy issue. This work is hard, and as a member of the DSS board, I'm committed to working with you, ensuring that we reach our goals in this area, and also for highlighting the importance of the foster care system in our child welfare system and the role that they play. So thank you again.
Thank you.
To you and your staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Commissioner Jacobs?
I will just say, echo everything that my colleagues have said, and I want to recognize also our Deputy Director, Val D'Amberville, and Dravetta Whitfield, who has been dedicated for many years, Assistant Director of Child and Family Services, so thank you. And to highlight also what you said, Director Clapp, it is very frightening to think about the proposed cuts to food and nutrition benefits, Medicaid, and even the elimination of the LEAP program, which is the Energy Assistance Program that people in Durham really depend on in the winter, has been eliminated in the proposed House budget.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to backtrack a second because I forgot for us to approve the agenda. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Jacobs, second by Commissioner Burton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then also, I need to request an excused absence for Vice Chair Dr. Lee for today,
So moved.
and as well as both Vice Chair Lee and myself will be out on Thursday.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Jacobs, second by Commissioner Burton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. Now we move to consent agenda. Are there any items that commissioners want to pull? There are 2 items that will be pulled for comment. Items 25-0266 and 25-0289. Are there any additional? Then I'll entertain a motion for approval of consent barring those 2 items.
So moved.
Second, and I just want to highlight the item about the animal shelter. I know a lot of people in the community are be very happy to see that moving forward.
Yeah, that one's being pulled.
Oh, that was pulled. Oh.
So all in favor for all except 0289 and 0266, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Consent minus those 2 are approved, 4-0. I'll now ask the two speakers, Amanda Wallace, speaking on 0266, and Antoinette, sorry, I always have difficulty with your last name, Hawes, 25-0289. You can come over to the podium on my left. You will each have 2 minutes to speak related to those agenda items. You need to turn the mic on.
Oh, there we go. So my name is Amanda Wallace, and I'm the founder of Operation Stop CPS, and I am here to talk about the approval of the contract for $125,000 to purchase protective vests for the Sheriff's Department. I really just wanted to pull this because I think a lot of these items just get passed through and consented to, but as a community, I want us to understand that we're spending $125,000 on protective vests when there are homeless people in Durham. There are so many things that we could be spending this money on, and so again, I just wanted to bring it out so that people really pay attention to all of the money that's being spent. On the Sheriff's Department, I was here for the budget meeting that you guys had last week. They need like 30 new cars because their policy says after 4 years they get new cars, and they just got $16 million for a cop city, and all of the vacancies that they have, they continue to want more money while they bleed the community dry. So again, just wanted to bring that forward because cops don't keep us safe, we keep us safe. And I definitely have to talk about Maggie Clapp that just came up here with her lies. I would appreciate you
Amanda,
guys,
you have to stay.
especially
You have to only comment on the item that you pulled, 0266.
especially Valentine, as a person
Commissioner-
that's on the board.
I mean,
you
Ms.
know
Wallace.
she's lying about
Ms. Wallace, your comments have to stay. Ms. Antoinette, you can come up to speak. Ms. Wallace, your time is up. Ms. Wallace. Yeah, please turn on your mic. That's the item that you signed up to speak on. You have to press the.
Push the button. All right, we're talking about animal shelters. Y'all care more about animals than y'all care about y'all people? If you take care of the people take care of the animals. You giving over $100,000 to an animal shelter. You got people living in tents on every highway, entering and exiting Durham, and you got the audacity to say we need this money for some animals. People take care of animals. If people had homes, they would have pets. Okay, let's do that. Focus on that. And let's talk about Maggie telling them lies.
Ms.
Lying about the
Antoinette.
children, Maggie.
Ms.
You not letting them
Antoinette,
see their children
you
1 hour a week. 1 hour.
Ms. Antoinette.
Oh, well, there's a bond severance.
Ms. Antoinette, your time is up. Your time is up. Mr. Rafiq Zaidi, you can come up and speak. You're on item 25-0266. Mr. Rafiq Zaidi, you'll have 2 minutes to speak on 0266. Thank you, Ms. Antoinette. Thank you, Ms. Antoinette. This is going to be the last time that I ask you, Ms. Antoinette, to please step aside from the microphone.
Good evening. My name is Rafiq Zaidi, 81-year-old pioneer member of the Durham community. I am not against Sheriff Burkhead and his staff in the facility receiving these $125,775 for protective vests. I'm not against the way that SAP and Dana cajoled together to get the contract for those vests. But what behooves me is how we can find money, grants, and everything else in the community when our children are slaughtered and we don't have enough guts, we don't have enough muscles or fortitude to find grant money and reward money to offer to find the killers of our babies. We done lost almost 4 babies in the last 6 years. The latest was on January the 20th, 2024, 2-year-old Minerva Spears was gunned down and shot and killed at campus apartments on campus on Cornwallis Road. She was one of 3 people who was shot that evening. Yet there is no further investigation. It seems as almost it's a cold case. Do you see what I'm saying? Close your eyes of your own 2-year-old being shot down and no further investigation. Yet the killer remains in society. Him or her is still roaming around the street. Why we can't take $25,000 of this grant money that's being given to the sheriff for protective vests and protect our community? If you offer a $25,000 reward for the killer of our sister on June the 20th, 2024,
Thank you, Mr. Zaidi.
I guarantee you that we will find the killer.
Thank you, Mr. Zaidi. We now get to our public hearing.
No. Oh, don't we?
We have consent agenda approval at the end of the agenda.
Okay.
We have our public hearing on the FY 2025-26 County Manager's recommended budget. And the board is requested to receive resident input on the budget. I'll bring it if there's anything first before we open public hearing. Okay. Then I will now open the public hearing, and I'm going to call up individuals 5 at a time. If you can come line up on this left podium, and make sure when you come up, there's a button and the mic will turn green when it's on, and each person will have 2 minutes to speak. Oh, just don't turn it off. The mic is on, just don't turn it off when you leave. And each of you will have 2 minutes to speak. Okay? So Micah Twitmeyer, Ann Rebeck, Vanessa Barnett Lorne, Retha Daniel Ruth, and Robin Maggie for the first 5.
Good evening. My name is Micah Hunter Tweetmeyer. I'm the proud president of the Durham Association of Educators, Durham's public school worker union. We're here this evening because the county manager's proposed budget does not fully fund DPS's request. We are here this evening because our students and coworkers deserve a budget that is free of layoffs and budget cuts. We're here because our schools actually need more than the $16 million that the district is requesting. Our schools are operating on bare bones budgets. Our workers are worried if they have a job next year, and our students spend the majority of their days in buildings that need significant repairs. With less potential funding, DPS is facing an impossible decision, a decision that will undoubtedly have negative impacts on our students. We know the state is the reason why we are near the very bottom of education funding in the country. We know that we can't continue to raise local funds every year. But right now we are faced with the question, what are we going to do now to ensure that our public schools in Durham continue to exist? What is our community willing to do to protect over 100 workers from being laid off? What can Durham do while we build power and change the General Assembly and other critical elected offices? We urge the county manager and the Board of Commissioners to reconsider the amount of funding they are allocating for DPS. Our students deserve the best public education we are able to provide. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ann Rebeck, the lead coordinator for the People's Alliance. As you know, in early March, you received a budget request from PA. The PA members collectively vote on the budget priorities, and the items in this letter were selected via the vote. Since 1993, the PA Education Action Team, who you'll be hearing from, has fought for full funding for traditional public schools. That remains true here in 2025. We thank the county manager for considering the $10 million increase, and we respectfully ask that you honor the DPS request for $16 million. We recognize the challenges of the budget this year, but remain steadfast that the fiscal needs of our schools should be a priority. In the last year and a half, the PA Child and Family Policy Team, which you will also hear from, formed and grew. In our budget letter, we asked for the county to fund the newly formed 501c3 Carolina Parent Defenders, CPD, in the amount of $250,000. We believe that this initial grant to the CPD will help stabilize and reunify families in Durham County. Thank you to each of the county commissioners for expressing your willingness to meet and discuss the opportunity with team members. I think we collectively believe, and I've heard this tonight, that we can do better in Durham to keep our families together. In the next few weeks, we look forward to holding actual meetings with commissioners who have expressed interest but so far have not been able to talk with our team. We also are grateful to the members of the DSF board for meeting and communicating with the team about the request. You'll hear from some of those team members tonight and hope you will take seriously the PA's request for funding CPD.
Good evening, County Commissioners. My name is Retha Daniel Ruth, and I'm a 30-plus year veteran in transportation. I have worked for DPS for almost 40 years, and I'm a proud DAE member. I come to you tonight appealing to your best selves. We are in a crisis, not only financially, but our morale is in crisis. We don't want what happened this year in transportation and in our schools to repeat itself. We have suffered budget cuts. We have suffered reallocations of our money. We have suffered disrespect from our administration, and yet we are expected to perform our jobs at 100% every day. Despite all these things, I still get up at 4:30 every morning. I get to work before 6:15 a.m. Most days, I do my morning routes, plus uncovered routes when I'm asked. This is almost daily. I do extra duty as much as possible, not because I want to, but because my household budget demands it. Many days, I work continually from 6:15 a.m. until 7 p.m. at night. 2+ days a week, I go straight from my shift to a meeting, either in person or on Zoom with my union. I do this not only because I care about my situation, I care about my newfound friends in the union, and I also care about DPS as a whole. I do it primarily because of the kids I serve. I know if I'm in a better place, that they will be in a better place. I interact with my students quite frequently, and many of them have shared their hopes and aspirations with me. Several have expressed that they want to be bus drivers just like me when they grow up. Well, in short, I would like to say, please give DPS the entire $16 million plus so that I don't have to stress out about my finances next year. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Vanessa Barnett Loro, and I'm a DPS teacher. Have not been, that's the dream, the goal, 30, 40 years. I teach 4th grade at Ignite, and I'm also the parent of a 3.5-year-old, so the parent of a future DPS student. I'm here today to express support for fully funding the Board of Education's budget request. A collective commitment to fully funding our public schools should be the rule, not the exception, in a progressive community like Durham. I understand these are extraordinary times. You all have incredibly difficult decisions to make as you're balancing these various budgetary needs, but I urge you to dedicate the resources to our schools that those who are most familiar with are saying that they desperately need. As a teacher, I have an obligation to offer my students the absolute best that I can all day, every day, because that's what they deserve. They deserve my best, and they deserve your best. So please do the best you can for my students and for all DPS students with this budget. Thank you.
Robin, before you go, I'm just going to call up the next 5 so that they can start lining up. Oh, wait.
Did you call Maggie Raddick also?
No, not yet. No. But I have Robin McGee is next, and I'm going to call up the next 5. Tony Bordeaux, Donna Steinbach, Randolph Cole, Shanice Hamilton, and Reina Rosenko. You can go ahead, Robin.
Hey, Robin McGee, Durham, North Carolina. So I'm here to do a little time traveling with you all as I advocate for expanding HEART, the HEART program in Durham. And we're going back to the fall of 2012. My oldest kid is a freshman at Riverside High School and witnesses 2 of his peers being tased by the school resource officers, the sheriff's resource officers. Should never happen to any children. We know tasing is absolutely dangerous. Wouldn't it be nice to have had a HEART team there? So let's go back in time to 2008, 2009. My daughter has just been chosen as a peer mediator at her elementary school. There, the teachers train the students to solve the problems, to take leadership, to be part of their communities. It's in school. It costs no extra money except some teacher relief time. What a great solution. Time travel back to the 1980s. I'm a brand new student teacher and I'm assigned to a high school that's had great difficulty with violence. However, they've instituted a brand new program that emphasizes peer mediation. The administrators are trained, the staff is trained, the teachers are trained, and the students are trained. Students are chosen and trained over the summer and have quarterly workshops throughout the year as peer counselors. The violence rate at this school is down to 1/3 of what it had been. We can do this, Durham.
Hi, my name is Tony Bordeaux, and I'm from 5901 Cheek Road in Durham. And I want to talk about the taxes for our Southeast Durham. Bull City Public Investigators reported an average property tax increase across Durham of 79% with the new tax appraisals. Attached, you received a presentation. I believe Monica Wallace provided you guys with a presentation on 2 and 3 as a data analysis of Southeast Durham versus the Durham average increase for 2025. 2025, if you look, Rougemont and Crowsdale received a 56% increase, and Crowsdale a 57.9% increase, while Southeast Durham received as much as 189% increase in taxable tax increase. For my resident and my co-presenters' residents, we live in an area that is outside of the urban growth boundary, and we are also designated RR, and a lot of our folks are in the critical watershed, so we can't have additional property. Our property does not perk because of Jurassic soil. I have 14 acres of land out there, nothing perks. We have the one on where our septic tank is on our current house. It's been there for 73 years. My family's been farming there. On our land, We've not only raised food for our families, but also for our community, our neighbors. Growing up, if you needed food, you came to the house and you picked it, or if you couldn't pick it, we picked it and brought it to you. We no longer do that, simply because the urban development that is sprawling out towards Southeast Durham now is forcing animals onto our land, which is great. We love the animals, but it's not uncommon for us to see gaggles of turkeys, herds of deer, coyotes, raccoons, possums, all in the yard at the same time overnight. You can't keep them out of our farming area.
Good evening. I'm Donna Steinbach, and I'm going to discuss the pages 3 and 4 of the presentation. I'm going to start with, we request that these tax appraisals in our area in Southeast Durham be reevaluated, especially for homeland and residual land, using factors that we bring up tonight and that we've sent into the appraisers. We've also met with Bethesda, Oak Grove, and Redwood Rueting Clubs, and we're helping people do their appeals because of the issues we ran into. But what I'm not seeing is the addressing of the land evaluations, which is the significant part, and the significant part of mine and my husband's increase. It is like these increases we've experienced are twice, just in 1 year, it's doubled our taxes, and then in 10 years, the assessment is tripled, you know, and that we're living off a state pension for retired teachers is the major thing, and that really puts a burden on the elderly. It is gentrification, and, you know, I got called out about saying that at City Council, but when you increase the taxes based upon development that's away from you, and I'm in the critical watershed, and I'm outside the UGB, and you're using the basis, the new development, that is an example of gentrification. Slide 3 shows that with the 162% tax increase, the value increased to 1,956. The end result is that Southeast Durham on the average is paying 25% more taxes than the rest of Durham and their assessment.
Donna.
So that the average numbers. Thank you.
Shanice Hamilton, campaign lead for Have a Heart Coalition. Just gonna bounce around on a few things. One, curious about what data is actually needed to move forward with countywide expansion of HEART. Sheriff Burkhead has repeatedly mentioned a need for data, and County Manager Hager recently stated that only after analytics are presented to the board can a discussion about funding begin. And this was in response to Commissioner Lee highlighting that there was no line item in the sheriff's budget request for any type of countywide expansion of HEART. And so we're curious, like, what actual data is needed that's not already out there. And as community, we'll be happy to help y'all to get that. We are also curious, we've had several attempts, again, to reach out to Commissioner Lee and Commissioner Valentine without any success. And we're here, so we would love for you all to actually respond to us to meet because we are community. We've heard about that HEART and DPS expansion isn't possible in this budget cycle due to ongoing underfunding of DPS, and that's not what we're asking for, and we want to be clear with that because we support DAE fully on their request for $16 million at least for DPS expansion, and so we're advocating for an investment of $450 to place a peer support specialist, EMT, into elementary, middle, and high school. And this would actually support and not undermine our educators, social workers, and counselors. In a budget where $2.6 million is allocated for school resource officers, we can't redirect a portion of that to offer care, not more policing and fear to our children. And also, there was a town hall by Sheriff Burkhead that happened recently, and we asked specifically, we wanted to know, his stance on supporting ICE, and we were not able to get an actual response to that. And as community member you see DAE here, and so many of our folks talking about protecting our children, we can't even get a simple response to whether
Thank you, Shanice. Thank you, Shanice.
Hi, my name is Raina Rusenko, and I'm with the Have a Heart Coalition. I'm here to ask the commissioners to use their powers electeds to ensure countywide expansion of HEART this next year, including within DPS by allocating the needed funds. First, regarding DPS, I know that since 2024, there's been ample conversation among actors in DPS and the county regarding how HEART can be brought into schools. There's already a plan to introduce HEART by bringing personnel into 3 pilot schools that have already volunteered. All that is needed is $450,000, and this does not need to come from money already earmarked for schools. This is not a lot, especially considering the county found $16 million, not for DPS incidentally, but for the sheriff's firing range. No key actors are opposed to this expansion into DPS. I have heard at many BOCC meetings that you are each eager to invest in programs that ensure kids continue their education, especially in the face of how the criminal justice system can disrupt their lives. HEART is one such program and needs only a small investment at this stage. Second, for countywide expansion, Sheriff Burkhead has stated publicly at his town hall that he is not opposed to countywide expansion, and he is not opposed to expansion of teams beyond co-response, such as the community response and care navigation teams. He has said that it is the BOCC's decision as to whether they will fund. This said, I believe it is imperative that the board provide the funding needed to the city's Department of Community Safety to make this happen. Every commissioner except Commissioner Valentine has publicly endorsed HEART repeatedly, as has the sheriff. Yet I feel like electeds are trying to have their cake and eat it too by publicly supporting HEART and blaming other actors for complicating the expansion. If the public can indeed take you at your word and there's the will to make this happen, what is preventing concrete action? The city and county have abundant data. An analysis of calls for service on the county dashboard shows that HEART could be providing unarmed response to approximately 700 to 800 calls per month, making Durham County safer for us all. Please expand the infrastructure for HEART now while we still can.
Mr. Randolph, before you go, I'm just going to call the next 5 up. Sydney Schildnet, Maya Bracey, Antoinette Haw, Fern Hickey, and Ever Azul Basilo Castillo. Sorry if I mispronounced your first name. Okay, thank you. You may go ahead, Mr. Randolph.
Hi, I'm Randy Coley. I'm here about property tax reappraisals. As I'm a senior, a lot of seniors in here, it hits seniors hard. We don't have the money at the end of the month to pay extra. When you triple, double, and increase another amount, which we jokingly call the compound, it's 3 houses that are together. I'm the 3rd generation. I'm hoping the 4th generation can handle it, but the way it looks, I'm going to lose it. And that's what the issue is about. You can't hit seniors who are on incomes where they've lost incomes because of a spouse dying or something else going on. There's no more money at the end of the month for us to add up to pay these property taxes at the end of the year. It's already a struggle. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'm Sydney Schildknecht, resident and social worker with Durham Public Schools. I'm also here with the People's Alliance Child and Family Coalition. Respectfully, tonight, I need you all to be partners to the children and families I work with by fully funding both the DPS budget and the Holistic Early Defense Pilot Program designed to prevent and mitigate unnecessary removal of children from their families in community context when involved with Child Protective Services. As a social worker with DPS, I am paid on the teacher pay scale. However, we were excluded from this year's master's pay after the board failed to account for us due to their refusal to include worker voices through Meet and Confer. After months of organizing, the board approved our pay for next school year, if y'all pass this budget. Not at 5% master's pay increase, which is a pay cut to the teachers receiving it this year, but in full. Here's the tension of social work. I believe I deserve to be paid respectfully for my degree and skills. I know my working conditions can mitigate burnout, and that when I'm not burnt out, I do my best work with our most vulnerable students. I hold this as someone with macro social work training as I work with families who are being evicted, while there are no available eviction prevention funds, and no plans to expand these in the budget. As I direct parents to Entry Point, where they're placed on months-long wait lists with no plans to increase shelter capacity. I've seen an increase of 20 unhoused students in my elementary school this year. This is up 50% and only includes those identified. When families are evicted and unable to find shelter, they're vulnerable to DSS CPS involvement due to the department's interpretation of neglect. After separation, it's near impossible to find and maintain affordable housing here. That's why tonight I also ask you fund Carolina Parent Defenders through their pilot. Doing so moves funds upstream to prevent traumatic separation due to inhumane policies that penalize families for system failures. Early defense keeps families together, protecting them from the harms of stigmatization due to poverty imposed by failing systems. Be on my families and students' teams. Fund the DPS budget and the Carolina Parent Defenders. Thank you.
My name is Maya Bracey. I'm a Durham resident, developmental psychology researcher, intern serving Durham Public Schools, and member of the People's Alliance Child and Family Coalition. I'm here today to urge you to invest in a holistic early defense pilot program that supports families involved in Durham's child welfare system. In Durham, over 95% of maltreatment cases involve neglect, which often identifies symptoms of poverty rather than a lack of care. When children are removed from their homes by the Department of Social Services, it's then that they're confronted with a sudden shift in their access to care. They're removed from their attachment figures, care routines, and a sense of safety. And this ruptures critical developmental processes, including brain development and emotional regulation, which puts children at greater risk for developing long-term challenges with depression, PTSD, and forming healthy relationships in the future. And the impact doesn't stop with the child. Family separation is a traumatic event for parents, changing their lives and fracturing trust and support that they can receive from their communities. Families are left alone to navigate complex emotional and legal experiences with few resources and few social supports to help them repair and reunify with their children. But by investing in a holistic early defense program like Carolina Parent Defenders, Durham County could help prevent unnecessary separation and trauma for children and families of Durham. There is already evidence that programs like this work. In Massachusetts, Oklahoma, and New Jersey, early legal intervention holistic services have kept hundreds of children out of foster care by supporting families and not separating them. These models prevent trauma, improve outcomes, and cost less than our current system. So I ask that you allocate $250,000 of the budget to holistic legal representation and early defense for families involved in Durham's child welfare system, and invest in an intervention that protects child development and promotes healthy outcomes for our entire community. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Antoinette Hawes. I've been paying taxes in Durham, North Carolina since 1997. And I'm not here to beg anybody to do anything. I'm here to tell you what you need to do, and you know what you need to do. You need to invest in humanity. Invest in humanity. Invest in the teachers. Invest in the support staff. Invest in a program that's going to go into the community and stand in the gap between law enforcement and just living and being able to move through life. Invest in a program that's going to help a parent or parents keep their children in their home. Invest in a place for people who are struggling so they won't have to live in a tent under a bridge at every entry and exit to Durham County. Let me tell you what's going to happen if you don't. Your reputation is going to go to the dogs, to the dog pound. I promise you, it is a check you can take to the bank. I will honor that check. I'm going to drag you from one end of this county to the next if you don't support humanity. Support humanity. That's all you got to remember. If it's got a human attached to it, you need to support it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Fern Hickey, and I'm a former foster parent through Durham County and a member of the People's Alliance and the Child and Family Coalition. I'm here tonight to ask the County Commission to allocate $250,000 towards a holistic early defense pilot program to support families involved in Durham's child welfare system. As a former foster and now adoptive parent to an incredible 10-year-old boy, my experience of the child welfare system is that it falls far short of what I think all of us would like to see when it comes to supporting families and keeping kids safe. When my son was first placed with me, the permanency goal for him was still reunification with his birth mom. But over the next year and a half, I saw a process unfold that seemed like it was aligned more against that goal rather than towards it. I believe, as I'm sure all people here in this room do, and I'm sorry because as I was sitting there, my notes got deleted, and so I need to re-find them. Sorry. I believe, as I'm sure everyone in this room does, that all kids deserve love, care, safety, and secure attachment. The American Association of Pediatrics asserts that family separation can cause irreparable harm, disrupting a child's brain architecture and affecting his or her short and long-term health. The trauma caused by separation has lifelong consequences for children like my son, and this trauma is also felt by their parents, other family members, and their broader community. Investing in holistic legal representation and early defense would help prevent or mitigate this trauma by connecting families to the resources, legal knowledge, and advocacy support necessary to prevent child removal and keep kids safe at home, or to more quickly and successfully work towards reunification. When I talked to my son about this campaign to fund early defense and legal representation for families like his, he said, "I wish that had existed before so that I could have stayed with my mom, but I'm glad that you're doing this so that hopefully other kids don't have the same experience I did. I know it's a tight budget year, but I hope you'll help make his wish a reality by investing."
Thank you, Fern. Before you go, Ever, I'm going to call the next 5 names, but I'm guessing that they're with you now. Maybe Luna Gomez, Amanda Wallace, Andre Cunningham, Jacob Coker Duck? Okay. And Keisha Bailey. You may go ahead, Ever. Thank you. And are you going to be using, do you need interpretation? Okay. Kirk Wallace, can we put 4 minutes for that, for the interpretation?
Okay, so hello, my name is Ebra Azul Basilio Castizo. I go to early college, and then this is my mother, Amanda Castizo, and she will say it in Spanish, and I will do it in English.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Amanda Castizo, soy mamá de DPS. Estoy aquí con miembros de mi comunidad latina para pedirle que dé prioridad a la seguridad de nuestra comunidad, ampliando el programa del equipo holístico de asistencia empática HEART, por sus siglas en inglés. En los últimos años hemos escuchado que HEART ha transformado la forma en que las personas de nuestra comunidad de Durham reciben apoyo en situaciones de crisis. El programa ha tenido mucho éxito y nos gustaría que se ampliara al condado de Durham y a las escuelas públicas de Durham. Durante este tiempo de incertidumbre para mi comunidad, sería un alivio para el estrés y la ansiedad que experimentamos a diario. Saber que Durham tiene una alternativa a una respuesta policial para las situaciones de crisis, sobre todo cuando no hay una amenaza inmediata a la seguridad. Muchas gracias.
Okay. So I'm here with the members of my Latino community to ask you to prioritize the safety of our community by expanding the holistic, empathetic assistance response of Team Heart, the program. Over the past few years, we have heard that Heart has transformed the way people, has transformed the way people in our community are supported in crisis situations. The program has been very successful, and we would like to see it expand to Durham County and Durham Public Schools. During this time of uncertainty for our community, it would provide some relief from the stress and anxiety we have been experiencing daily to know, experiencing daily to know that Durham has an alternative to a police response to crisis situations, particularly when there is no immediate threat to our safety. Thank you.
Good evening, and I'm Luna Gomez, and I'm a DPS student, and I'm going to be delivering this message on behalf of our group, Sembrando Raíces. The county manager has proposed only funding $10 million of the $16 million DPS budget request. If the full amount is not funded, it will likely mean our bus drivers do not get a supplement, our social workers do not get a master's pay that was promised, and it could even mean pay cuts for teachers with master's degrees. Please fully fund the DPS budget so we can avoid starting another year without enough bus drivers and avoid losing social workers and teachers with master's degrees. Please do, because this does not just affect them. It also affects students like me. Thank you.
It's hard to come behind that. But good evening, County Commissioners. My name is Andre Cunningham. I am a bus driver, DPS, and a proud DAE union member. I'm here tonight to ask you all to fully fund the $16 million DPS budget request because our students and staff can't afford to start another year down dozens of drivers. With the cost of living the way it is, for the type of work we gotta do, the pay is not enough. I have businesses on the side that I do in between my routes, but many of my coworkers don't have that, and they shouldn't have to. Bus drivers are the first line of defense for the school day. We deal with distractions on the road and on the bus with students. We feel unappreciated. If drivers don't come back, we lose people during the summer. Next year, we will be forced to do more with less. This will cause us to be late for our second and third routes, and students will suffer. The good news is that you all have a choice. You can fully fund the DPS budget request and ensure that drivers get the $200 supplement that we have been fighting for, and you can choose not to, and fully fund the budget, and the drivers will leave to work for other CDL entities which pays more and have better benefits. And we'll start next year in another transportation crisis. It's up to you, and we'll count on you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? Apologies for my last name. My parents did that to me, and you did a great job and attempt at it. But my name is Jacob Coker-Dukowitz. They just combined the names, I don't know why. And I came here tonight because I wanted to come in support of fully funding the HEART program, 24/7 support in city and expanding it for Durham Public Schools. When I moved here about a year ago with my family, I was so excited when I learned about this program, because it meant that there were people here that cared about community, cared about safety, and to me cared about true safety. It told me that because I believe the best way to guarantee safety of any community is to address the root causes of violence, the root causes of crisis. And to me, the HEART program is an attempt to do that, and it's been doing it very well. Police training is clearly not going to be a replacement. Please consider fully funding it. Yeah, thank you.
Hello again. My name is Amanda Wallace, and I'm here tonight because the county manager's recommended budget fails to confront a critical truth, that Durham County's child welfare system is not working. And continuing to fund it without accountability is an endorsement of its failures. If this county were truly measuring the effectiveness of child welfare services, or what we call the family police, we would have stopped funding this department a long time ago. The outcomes are clear. Durham County is failing at reunification. There are children literally sleeping in DSS offices. How is that acceptable, and how is that worth continuing to fund? We need to fund community-led solutions, support initiatives like Expanding Heart, right? Fund Carolina Parent Defenders, fund guaranteed income, fund housing, fund anything other than what you guys continue to fund. And these are not radical ideas. It shouldn't be radical. It should literally be common sense. Like to Ms. Antoinette's point, fund humanity. This budget should reflect a commitment to healing and not harm. I also urge the commissioners to pass Stolen Children's Month proclamation for June and start telling the truth about what this county is truly doing here in Durham. And finally, I want to uplift Kimari Morgan, which is a 1-year-old child that died in the custody of Person County on Saturday. And he is a reminder of why this whole system needs to be abolished, not just here in Durham, but everywhere in this country and in this world. We gotta start telling the truth.
Kesha, before you go, I'm gonna call up the last few. Anna Mullen, Brittany Frost. Y'all need to help me with this handwriting. Last name is Rodek. The first name's, it's Maggie? Oh, okay. Thank you. Allison Swaim. If you all want to line up over here on the left side. Go ahead, Kesha.
Good evening, County Commissioners. My name is Keisha Bailey, and I am currently an EC teacher in the Durham Public School System. I came here tonight to ask you to fully fund the DPS budget request for this year. Even with the full $16 million the board has requested, we are still facing vital cuts to the frontline positions and most staff seeing a local raise. Funding less than the full amount will mean even more position cuts, potential pay cuts, and taken away from raises bus drivers have been fighting for. This would mean even worse understaffing and turnover for the next year, and is something our students cannot afford. Myself, personally, as an exceptional children's teacher in Durham Public School System, our students in my classroom personally have to have bus monitors on their bus. Otherwise, they are unable to ride the bus. I have students that have started this school year that had to wait 2 to 3 weeks to start school because of the bus system crisis and because there weren't enough bus monitors to monitor them on the bus to and from school. So I'm asking that that you commissioners would please fully fund the DPS budget so that Durham Public Schools can do what Durham Public Schools needs to do, and that's provide for our students in the Durham Public Schools. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Anna Mullen. I'm with the Have a Heart campaign. First, I want to reiterate or emphasize what my colleague said, that at a town hall in Bahama last week, Sheriff Burkhead said that the countywide expansion of HEART would be up to the BOCC, whether they can come up with the funding and give him the personnel. But we want to clarify that all HEART staff are to be hired, trained, and sustained under the Department of Community Safety, not under law enforcement. The integrity of the model depends on that separation. HEART expansion is about choosing care over punishment and healing over harm. It's about building systems that see families as worthy of protection, not suspicion. We urge everyone to join us in supporting the Stolen Children's Month proclamation, because children don't need to be taken from their families to be safe. Families need to be supported to stay together. As we observe Stolen Children's Month in Durham County, we are reminded of the painful legacy and ongoing reality of family separation, especially for Black, Indigenous, and other marginalized communities. We believe that if we invested in real, community-rooted solutions that support families, such as affordable housing, mental health care, childcare, and economic opportunity, that there would be no need to surveil police and separate them. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Brittany Frost, and I'm a school social worker with Durham Public Schools, and I'm here today to advocate for the full $16 million increase that was requested by the DPS Board of Education. This funding is not just a line item in a budget, it's a commitment to the well-being and the future of our students and the dedicated professionals who serve them. While you have proposed a $10 million increase, this falls short of the full request and will make decisions difficult about which programs and staff to prioritize. Reducing funding in areas such as master's pay for social workers would undermine the commitments made by the DPS Board of Education and devalue the contributions of support staff like myself. As a school social worker, I'm deeply invested in the success of our students. We're on the front lines, and without adequate funding, our ability to provide essential services is compromised, directly impacting student outcomes. I urge you to consider the long-term benefits of investing in our educators and support staff. Fully funding the DPS budget is an investment in the future of Durham's children and the professionals who dedicate their lives to their success. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maggie Raddick. I'm a 7th year teacher at Northern High School, and I'm a proud DAE member. I got my Master's of Arts in Teaching High School Science at Duke 7 years ago and have taught in DPS since then because I love Durham, I love my students, I love my coworkers, and I love my union. For the first 6 years of my career in DPS, I was not paid for my master's degree because, as we know, the state cut master's pay for folks who got their master's after 2013. Last year, my union coworkers and I pushed DPS and then the Board of County Commissioners to pass the biggest DPS budget increase in recent history, which included local funding for master's pay. Because of this, I got a much-needed 10% pay raise this past year, although many other DPS workers, such as social workers, who were eligible according to the state, were left out. I was able to buy a house in Durham this past year because of this raise. I was able to put down permanent roots in this town that I love because of this raise. DPS has requested a $16 million budget increase for next year to fund, among other things, a raise for bus drivers and the inclusion of social workers in master's pay next year. However, if y'all only fund $10 million of this ask, as the county manager has proposed, DPS will be forced to make impossible decisions about what to fund and what not to fund. One of the options on the table is cutting master's pay from a 10% raise to a 5% raise. This would mean I and those who received master's pay this past year would take a significant pay cut next year. I would make thousands of dollars less next year than I did this past year, and being able to pay my mortgage would become much more difficult for me. Pay cuts for staff are unacceptable, as we saw last year during the classified pay debacle. Please fund the full $16 million budget increase that DPS has requested. Thank you.
Was there someone before me? I'm Allison Swaim.
That was Maggie.
Oh, okay.
No, that's it. And then
Hi, I'm Allison Swaim. I teach social studies at Riverside High School, and I'm a proud union member. I first want to say, to just echo what has been shared by many tonight, please expand HEART. I would be really excited to see 6 schools pilot a HEART program. I've been able to have HEART come when there was a mental health crisis at my school, and really just want to see that expanded to other schools. It's been said by many others, but just want to reiterate, DPS needs all 16 million and more. As it stands, fully funding the 16 million, we will be forced to cut 121 frontline positions. That's with a fully funded $16 million budget increase in DPS. Every penny is needed and more. We can't have pay cuts again. As you've heard, it would be untenable to cut the pay of folks who got a raise with master's pay last year. The bus drivers need that supplement increase, and monitors need it as well. So please fully fund the request. It would cost $130,000 to give a raise to monitors. Monitors need to be included in that raise as well. Monitors and drivers, 2/3 of all of them signed a petition and proposed solutions to the transportation crisis. It's really important that we include monitors as well. It would only cost $130,000, so please include that as well.
That concludes the individuals signed up for public comment, so I will close the public hearing. And that brings us back to board. I want to thank everyone, first of all, for coming out and participating in the budget process and sharing your thoughts and budget priorities with us for us to consider as we continue through this budget season. So thank you all for coming out. Have a safe evening home, or you can stick around for the rest of the meeting. We have our board and commission appointments. I'll pass to Attorney Williamson.
Good evening. I'm not going to take it personally that you're leaving now that I'm talking, but that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. We have a number of appointments tonight. The first is with the Audit Oversight Committee, where we have one vacant position, and the board has selected Zhao Lu. I apologize if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. We have the Durham County Hospital Corporation Board of Trustees. We have 5 vacant positions, 2 community representatives, 1 Duke Regional Hospital Physician Representative, 2 Duke University Health System Representative positions. And the 2 for the community representative positions, we have Constanza Gomez-Jones and Hector Hidalgo. For the Duke Regional Hospital Physician Representative, we have Mark Neely. For the Duke University Health System Representatives, we have Terry McDonald and Paul Mosca. For the Durham County Waste Commission, we have 1 vacant position, and the board has chosen Zhao Lu for that position. We have the Durham Racial Equity Commission. We have 1 vacant position, and the board has chosen Brahmajyothi Mulugu. And for the Durham Workforce Development Board, we have 2 vacant positions. The board has chosen CJ Broderick and Adrian Skiers. And for the Memorial Stadium Authority position, we have 1 vacant position, and the board has chosen Yvonne Coleman Cook. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Attorney Williamson. Congratulations to everyone who was selected. I think everyone who was selected to serve on a board and commission. Congratulations, and thank you to everyone who applied for a board and commission. Even though you weren't selected this time, there's plenty of boards and commissions for residents to serve on, both for the county, the city, as well as the state. So please continue to apply. I'm gonna just wait for. Now there were 2 items that were pulled from consent agenda that we'll return to for consideration, 25-0266 and 25-0289.
I move a motion to approve both of those items.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Jacobs, second by Commissioner Burton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motions to approve passes 4-0. It's a long night. I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Valentine, second by Commissioner Jacobs. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.